Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Plan in Traffic, which we do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We're live on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. So if anybody wants to chat with us, please go into the chat, and we can see it all over here in our situation in our room. We have special guest, Ben Bright. What's up, Ben?
How you doing?
Good. He's an old time friend from years back.
Yeah, great to have you back.
Yeah, man. What's going on? What's good?
Oh, same old stuff. Different year, minus the year that we skipped last year.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it?
Well, we kept doing this.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. Pretty much decided, well, unless someone knocks on my door and says they're going to pay my bills for me, like, well, I'll still keep working because we've got a small shop and it's not, there's not a whole lot of foot traffic. And actually, in March last year, we just moved to a bigger building and expanded into doing service and maintenance on classic cars too. And we got slammed and still haven't caught up.
I'm just going back in my logbook here, and I'll look in between, but I see you were on December 21st, and it was 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to see if there's anything after that.
Same sideburns, less hair on top.
Well,
yeah.
That's what happens when you roll around on the dashboards of classic cars.
So Ben, tell us the audience what's the name of your company and where they can find you on the internet and stuff like that.
Well, I opened a shop 6 years ago. It's called Old Soul Speed and Custom. We mostly do like pre-1964 classic car customization and restoration. Like I said, we expanded into doing service and maintenance, and still try to keep it all pre-smog. So 74 or earlier, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, easy to work on, right?
Yeah. We last time I visited with you guys, I was in Morro Bay, California, and 2 years ago we moved to San Luis Obispo, California. So we've been there for 2 years and moved twice, but it's kind of hard to pass up an extra 700 square feet for $100 more,
Oh yeah.
How's that working out with doing the maintenance on the cars? And I gotta say, I kind of do the same thing at a shop I work at, but not many 76s these days have smog equipment on them anymore. So
yeah,
it's been ripped out years ago.
Oh yeah, it's a kind of a different beast. Like, restorations like the long game, and maintenance and small jobs is kind of like the short game, which with limited space, it can kind of mess things up real quick. Like last year, even into this year, everybody's been using the COVID-19 scapegoat as not getting things shipped to you as quickly as they normally did.
It's on every website.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Yeah.
Actually, we've got one truck that we're building, a 51 Ford F1, and we got a crate engine for it, and one of the suppliers. This is a 50 Chevy. It'll be that yellow truck, Lewis.
Okay.
With the rendering. But I called this guy because we had put a not enough wheels. There you go. So this is a rendering of the truck. Nice. We put a Phytech unit on 57 Chevy that we did just a 430 horse small block engine swap in, and we had nothing but headaches with that Phytech system. I ended up paying like 40 hours out of pocket to my technician to try to diagnose it on the phone with the Phytech guys, with their techs, only to have to send the unit in and them determine that it was a faulty computer that
Oh God.
and so I'd ask them like, well, who's responsible for all this, and hello. And they're like, oh, we don't warranty labor work. So
Wow.
anyway, this truck that we were doing, the engine came from the same builder with the Phytech unit on it. So I told him I wanted to return it, and it got to the point where I was calling him every single day for almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
And they're like, oh, sorry, we're short staffed and someone had coronavirus in the workplace, and so we're working from home. And I just asked him, I said, well, does the coronavirus make your phone not work?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you can't use it as an excuse for everything.
Yeah.
So
Here-
we ended up.
There's a yellow truck.
Wow, that is
Trying to
slam.
deal with Holly.
Yeah.
I've had
There's a
problems with
picture
Holly
of
fuel
a
injection.
progress pic of that yellow truck with the wheels on it all mocked up and everything. So the customer actually, it's got a 383, like a 525 horse 383 stroker, and we built a 51 Chevy pickup for that guy's friend, and we put a brand new LS3 in it, the hot 525 horse. And can you still hear me?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Something popped up and said there was some connection issue. So he's like, all right, well, once we get this done, I'm gonna have to race my friend because we're both rated at the same horsepower. But I think he wants to secure the win. So I just talked to a friend over at Borla, so we're gonna put like a Borla stacked injection on it as well.
Nice.
Nice. For some reason, that picture didn't come through.
Yeah.
Ben.
Who is
Oh,
Borla?
That's
I'm
all
trying
right.
to think. Did they use Enderley? The Enderley injection? Because they don't make it. I mean,
I'm not sure I'm not sure exactly who it is that they use. I haven't. I've talked to them, but I haven't actually held the unit yet.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, we've been staying pretty busy. That like the main focus right now is that 62. We're doing a 62 unibody pickup with a John Causey Boss 9 motor in it.
Oh, wow.
And
Is that the black one?
and that one it's actually to get it.
Oh, the salt flat wheels. It's nice.
Like 10 years. It's been like 10 years, and we've redone everything on the whole truck.
Wow.
So that was, it seems like it's all too common in the industry that people really overstate their abilities and then charge people a lot of money, but not give them a product that's worth the amount that they got charged.
Yeah.
Then it ends up coming to you.
I think we've all seen that in one way or another.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
All right.
that Suburban right there, that green Suburban, that same shop that unibody pickup came from. I mean, it was there for 13 years for a restoration, and the gentleman's like retired in his late 80s, just wants to drive it, and he wanted to put an e-brake on it. They had cut all of the original bracketry out of it for the e-brake, and so we installed one of those e-stop systems on it. And while we were under there, noticed that it was missing 4 out of the 6 body mount bolts.
Oh God!
And it had a late it had an early LA series 360 block in it, but it had late like 90 post 92 Magnum heads.
Oh, those are chokers. Yeah.
yeah, so it like, you know, and he was sold a brand new crate motor and a brand new transmission. The planetary gears were trashed, and it only had 2 out of the 3 gears, and so
Oh God.
Wow.
it's got like a new it was actually cheaper to buy a blueprint crate motor, dyno tested and everything, than it would have been to have that motor rebuilt.
I was gonna say, where did all the parts he paid for go?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is that e-stop system, is that the one that activates on the drive shaft?
No, it's all electric. So it's
Okay.
yeah, it hooks into the original cables, and then it's got like a unit that you mount on the frame rail, and it's just a actuator system, and it's got a button inside the compartment, like the passenger compartment, whatever, on wherever you mount it.
Okay, so from there back is all the stock stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the actuator pulls the cables.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, the actuator is the replacement for the human.
For the
So
yeah, for the pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah. On
Okay.
something like that, so what's the normal setup on the actuator? Is it normally closed, normally open? In other words, is it using electricity to turn the brakes on, and then what do you do when you got the system shut down?
Yeah, it you have to have the key on in order to release the brakes.
Oh,
So
okay. So in other words, its normal non-energized position is locked.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So it's
It-
energized to unlock it.
yeah, and it works pretty good.
That's cool.
Sometimes I had that customer forget, you know, how to take it to turn the brake off, and it was a little bit, you know, I had to do some phone tech service with him so he could drive his car, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
yeah.
Well, at least he's got something he can use now. That's good.
Yeah, actually, so we were hoping to get this car done. He actually wanted to run fuel injection on it, and I know Blueprint, they'll dyno their motors with a Holley Sniper unit on it if you
Yeah.
upgrade it.
Mhm.
But I did a bunch of research, and he wanted like a direct port injection, and I found this company, Hughes Engineering, like
Yeah.
Hughes Engines back east there.
Yeah.
And Edelbrock private labels an intake manifold for them that is direct injection. So we ordered one of those for that car, and it was it was supposed to be there, you know, in 2 weeks, and then, long story short, I'm sure you guys know Edelbrock sold. Well, they unplugged all of their machines at the shop, and they didn't do any more work while they were moving back to Mississippi. So they ended up putting the 2-week turnaround time on that intake manifold turned into like 8 months
Wow.
Yeah.
back order. So we ended up just putting the carburetor back on it and told them, you know, we'll get it back to you. You can drive it around, and then if you want to upgrade it, you know, we can do that at a later date.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me jump over to this Chevy. Where'd it go? What's the dealio on this?
58.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a customer car that he wants. Well, he had from 58 to 64. He had one of each, and then in his divorce, he sold all of them and kept that one. But,
Oh no.
yeah. So this one actually, you know, we've been batting cleanup a lot lately for other shops, and this one, he's owned it 12 years, and he had it at another shop, and they pulled the motor and did a bunch of work to get rid of it was leaking oil really bad. And so he's like, yeah, I think I'm just going to sell it. So I told him, you know, I think I texted you a before and after picture, but the engine compartment, they they had like the car's candy apple red, and they had like an opaque red engine compartment that had, you know, really horrible plastic red loom on the wiring. And
Yeah, I hate that stuff.
oh yeah,
Here it is.
Some people think that really makes the car look good.
That's
I know.
stuff.
So I mean, even the fan shroud was painted red.
That's
So
hard
we
to
ended
tell,
up pulling the engine and stripped the whole engine compartment. We painted everything. And he's like, I've owned it for 12 years and I don't know what engine it has
Nice.
in it. So I ran the numbers and ID'd it as like a 63 Corvette 327.
Oh, nice.
So I told him, well, why don't you let us, you know, dress it up like a Corvette motor. So I bought some finned, you know, the Corvette script finned aluminum valve covers and the correct intake and everything, and the right air cleaner. And he came by and he was like, he's like, yeah, my car had those valve covers on it before. And
Wow.
so then come to find, he's like, I thought they said Chevrolet, but looking at them, I guess they do say Corvette. And
Right.
so this other shop that had pulled the motor to fix the leaks, they took all the original Corvette stuff off of it and slapped a bunch of horrible aftermarket stuff on it and gave it back.
Nice.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. So we got it all cleaned up. It actually had caught fire at one point, and they had to repaint the hood on it. It had one of those. It had a quick fuel carburetor on it, and the wrong fuel rail. It was leaking really bad, so we swapped that out. And then just noticed the gasket on the bottom of the car. It was all dried out and cracked, and it was leaking fuel. So I just put a new carburetor on it today. We get it fired up and get it back to the customer. We're going to be listing it for sale for him. So
Yeah, I have to say I've come across more than a few people who they bring their car in and get it back like this guy did, and don't even know the things were changed because they really didn't even pay attention to what was there in the first place. And
Yeah.
I tell people, like, listen, take pictures of everything before you drop it off, so at least you have something to compare it to.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
there's no reason to get ripped off.
Yeah.
right. Well, that's the kind of the difference between, you know, the car builders and the car drivers.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like, you know, it seems like everybody, like, I don't have one of my own cars. I sold everything, pretty much. I sold everything to get money for equipment, you know, and stuff
Right.
at the shop. I did just pick up something recently for my kids and I to work on. It just I'm trying to source an engine and drivetrain for it, but
What is it? What is it? What is it?
There you go.
A Ford van?
63 Econoline panel van.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's cool.
Yeah. So I
Gotta
was
make it look
kind
like the
of,
mystery machine.
yeah, I was kind of geeking out recently about it because one of my friends, his nephew had a 2016 Mustang with the 4-cylinder turbo EcoBoost in it.
Yeah.
And he rolled it and the drivetrain was fine. And so I was trying to see if I could get that from him and narrow that Mustang independent rear suspension and put it all under that van.
That would be
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
But he didn't have insurance, so the lien holder came and picked it up.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh man. So yeah, but you know, if there's one thing I've learned, you know, in the last 6 years of owning my own shop, it's, you know, like I always try to stay positive and be, you know, optimistic with customers, but in the end, like I've learned you just have to prepare them for the worst at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because so much of this stuff takes way longer than anticipated, or is more expensive to find parts depending on what you're working on. And really, I mean, it doesn't, I've learned that it doesn't really benefit you in any way to try to, you know, be optimistic about it. you know, you can still be a good person, but you know, like
Mhm.
having them understand is it's you know it in the long run it ends up paying off.
And
Well,
the
it's
big
like you said,
problem
you know,
is
there's
a
a
lot
difference
of your
between
customers are not educated as to what they even own.
well, that's like what Ben just said before. It's the difference between a restorer and a driver. A lot of people don't know, and you know, I've worked on cars where the car had major body work and surgery done. I mean, metal work that you're never going to see was changed on the car, and it's, you know, hundreds of hours of work. And you know, it wasn't the shop's job to complete the car, but the guy will get it back and then come back like in a few days and say, "Hey, you know, the cigarette lighter doesn't work. Like, what did you guys do?" Like, wait a minute, you know,
Yeah.
thousand hours of metal work, and you're worried about the freaking. We weren't even touching that. Yeah.
Right. Or it's like it's whistling, it's making a noise down the road like there's wind coming in, or you know,
Yeah. Right.
like too many people you know, it's not impossible to make a classic car, you know, run and drive like you know, a modern car, but that too many people are expecting that that's how it's going to be.
Or
And you know,
more
unless you
importantly, the
pay
answer to
for
that
it,
question is, you know, I've seen the answer to that question be, well, sir, you didn't ask us or pay us to put the weather stripping in the car, so there is none. So maybe
right.
that's where the whistle's coming from.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got to do that stuff. Yeah, you got to do that stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's that unibody, for example, like it was at 4 other shops before it came to us. And you know, I always try to start with the end in mind. Like, you know, with all the years that I had a chance to work on overhauling, like one of the first things we ever did was draw a rendering so people knew what they were building.
Sure.
You know, when Chip would sketch it out, and it gave you a goal to shoot for. But that unibody pickup, you know, the last shop that it was at, they put it on a Crown Vic chassis, which the track width is way too wide. With the wheels going pointing straight, it was touching the insides of the fenders.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they had gone ahead and done all of the body work and all of the paint work, and then told them after that they could flare the fenders so he could have some turning radius.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's kind of amateur hour, you know.
Yeah, it's very.
But they actually charged the customer in 4.5 years. They charged him $300,000.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Any of
you
these
know,
shops happen to have a television show?
yeah. No, not that. Not the ones locally that we've received. You know, that one's like the fifth car from the same shop.
$300,000 and the car wasn't even right.
There ought to be a law.
I don't understand how these guys get away with that stuff.
Yeah, neither do I. Like, I became the bad guy because you know, I told the customer, like, hey, do you want us to put air conditioning in it? Like, trying to get a feel of, you know, how far he wanted to go with the build. And that's when he's like, well, I already paid for that. I'm like, well, I photo inventoried every single part that the car came in with, and there's no air conditioning unit. So,
Right.
you know,
Oh my God.
$5,500 Curry rear end, and you know, $5,000 AccuAir air ride setup.
Oh my goodness.
See, in a case like that, when you get a car like that, because that's kind of similar to my other business, which is aquarium stuff. I always have the new customer that winds up calling me because they're fed up with whoever else they're using.
Yeah.
I need to see paperwork.
Right.
I need to see, okay, this is what you bought from company A. Well, let's go through that and see what you paid for and what's actually here and what never made it. Same thing with cars. When I had my chassis shop, we would get stuff that would come in from other places, and we had to pick up the pieces. And it was like, okay, bring me your invoice. You could blank out the prices. I don't care. I want a list of what you paid for. Yeah. And then you're telling me that everything that you paid for is here in these boxes or in the car. So let's, you and I together, inventory what's going on here, and that
Yeah.
way we know
Yeah.
who we need to go back to and basically put our knee on the neck of that person.
Right. Yeah,
basically-
that's what actually the customer's a lawyer. And so he's like, I want you to review all these invoices, and and so I mean I highlighted everything. Like there's over 20 grand in parts alone that weren't with the car. And then
Wow.
just out of a professional courtesy, I highlighted all of the labor hours he was charged for all the stuff that wasn't done too. And like he bought a 49 Merc Dash, and there's not anything that looks like a 49 Merc Dash. It's got like a 64 Galaxy gauge cluster in it.
You may find yourself on a witness stand sometime soon, to be that's like what you said before, like we were talking about when people move cars around. I've seen this happen firsthand. People are so fed up and they just want to get the car out of shop A to go anywhere else that they don't even take the time to ask, hey, where's all my parts? It's just like, you know what? Give me the car back and just throw the stuff in the back of the car, and I just want to get it out of here. Where they should be standing there doing an inventory. And that's it happens all over the place. It's ridiculous.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of focused on, well, for one, preparing them for the worst, and two, like educating them on, the actual process of building cars, like, receiving a car in the middle of the project and then having to go 2 steps forward or backwards before you can go 1 step forward, like
Right.
people think, well, I've already paid for that. I'm like, well, yeah, but when the dynamat has a hole in it and you can see that the whole interior was dynamated over bare steel and it's surface rusted, like, you can't let that type of stuff go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we had Dan Short from Phantom Works on the radio show some years ago, and he stressed it. He says, listen, the one thing that I tell people is we're going to sit down and we're going to make a contract. And he says, this is as much for me as it is for you. It's really for both of us. And we're going to adhere to this contract. And he says, it doesn't mean it can't be amended, and it won't be amended, because it probably will be, but it's going to be done together. And we're both going to be on the same page the whole step of the way. And if more shops would do that. See, I think some of the shops, there's a very popular one here in Babylon that's known for bait and switching people. And they don't, and I know people who've gone in there and said, listen, are we going to make a contract? No, we don't need that. Hey, we're friends. Hey, we're going to help you out.
Yep.
We don't need that. Yeah, right.
That's when you walk.
Run.
Yeah. It's like the last, 5 years, I've kind of run my business as, like this is a passion of mine. And if I was independently wealthy, like I'd do this for free because I love doing this. And it kind of, had a paradigm shift, like, well, this is what I do to provide a living for my family, and so like I need to run the business like a business, and
Sure.
it's been good because when you've got the Bureau of Automotive Repair and stuff like that you have to be licensed through and everything, and they keep you, I guess, walking the line that they want you to walk. And in the past, when if I've ever met any of people from those places, I tell them like, hey, like if there's something I'm doing that's wrong, let me know. It's not because I'm trying to fly under the radar. It's because I don't know. And so like I've developed a good relationship with a lot of those people. Actually, one of the guys from the Bureau said it's when he retires, he wants to come and work with us. But so there's,
cool.
and then just in restoration, he always says like, well, it's hard on restoration, the world, because legally you're supposed to provide an estimate, and then if anything changes in the way that you find additional work that needs to be done, or the process of how you have to get from point A to point B, you have to do change orders. And So I just asked him, like, if a customer is willing to agree, like the car will cost less than $1 million, the estimate's $1 million, do I not have to bother with all the change orders?
Right.
But he's like, well, technically, if you did it right, you would provide an estimate to disassemble everything and assess it, and then provide an estimate to reassemble it, or an estimate to do the full build. And so it's kind of crazy.
In a dealership with a new car, you can do that. But we all know, you look at a car and you say, okay, it looks like it's in good shape. Let me estimate what it's going to cost to take it apart, until you find out, like John just went through, we've all gone through. What about the frozen bolts and the cage nuts that turn and stuff that, now that just blew your time frame out of the window. How do you account for that? You can't. You can't see that in the future, without getting your hands in there. So there's got to be some workability. There's got to be.
Yeah, because what do they say? It's you're only like 3 minutes away from one broken bolt turning it into a 2-day job or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is, and I've seen some people think that, like in my contract, it states, that unforeseen issues will be addressed at the time that they're found, and some people think that that's like a clause to cheat them out of money or whatever. I'm like, well
clause.
How can you address them before they're found? You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
So, and then I think something in the dictionary needs to be a little bit more clear or at least need to direct people to what it says under estimate. Like an estimate is not a fixed final cost. Like
Yeah.
But
it's a nice little thing to print.
Right.
Yeah. So it's been good. It's definitely the hardest thing has been, opening a shop because I love building cars, but then actually being able to do what I love doing. There's so many more aspects to running a business. And my wife has been helping out a lot, doing a lot of the bookkeeping and things like that in the past had kept me out of the shop. But I had a friend that told me, if you don't like doing book work, find somebody else to do it, or else you'll hate your business.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly true.
Yeah.
What's up, gentlemen?
How
Hey,
are
hey.
you, Terry?
What up
Had to
there?
come into the vlog and say what's up to my man BB, Ben Bright in the house. What's up, bro?
He's
Oh,
frozen.
froze. Did I freeze?
Scared him.
No, I think Ben was. No, he,
Oh,
He is.
Ben, can you hear
Oh
Terry?
yeah, I can hear. I didn't hear Terry.
What's going on, Ben?
Unless
How
he's
you doing, brother?
sign language.
Got to make an entrance, man. How you doing, Ben?
I don't think you can't hear you.
I don't think you can hear me. What's up with that?
I hear you just fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
right.
too.
hold on. Oh, I
yeah,
can't see.
right.
Oh, man. Ray, thank you
Yo.
very much, buddy.
Terry, let me tell you something. I'm happy to help you. That was such a shot in the dark. Terry asked me the other day to take a picture of the rocker panel on my car, and I kind of had an idea what he wanted, but my car sits like 6 inches off the ground, so I lay under there. I put the camera on the floor, and I'm shooting up. I'm like, I hope this is. I took a couple shots, and I said, this one looks like maybe what he wants, but that was like luck.
Well, you know what it was, okay? On my 71 Chevelle, okay, I guess the second gen A bodies. I don't know if the second or third gen. I still the jury's still out on that. But the piece that you know how you have the fender, the piece where the fender starts going under the car and it bolts to the, I guess it's the side of the cowl.
It's the bottom of the right.
The bottom of the cowl.
Right.
There's a piece of metal that drops down like this and it goes like this and it bolts in. But on the 67 Chevelle, it's almost like it's a part of the inner rocker and it goes under. And that's what I wanted to see, if the inner rocker does attach to that small little piece that's on the side of the cowl, and the bolt goes inward. But I just wanted to see how that went because on mine, my inner rockers, what's up, Arco, man? Yo, what's happening? I just wanted to see how it is because mine just I had to recreate the whole side of the cow and everything.
Hey, Terry, hold on 1 second. Ben, can you hear Terry?
No.
Hey,
I can't.
Featuring her by Stormzy.
wait a minute. Hey, Terry, try logging out and coming back in so Ben can hear you because he probably know what you're talking about too.
Oh, no, he definitely would know what I'm talking about. All right, let me log out real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's odd that only Ben couldn't hear him, but the rest of us can. Why would
Yeah.
Strange.
I don't know.
Strange.
You guys can all hear
I know
him?
exactly
Yeah.
what he's talking about because, like second gen is the same way. The bolt at the back of the fender by the door is kind of like part of the rocker,
Right.
and then the forward bolt it's like a triangular piece that comes off the cowl.
Yeah.
That's what.
So yeah, he asked me if I could
Open
take a
in.
picture of my car. So
Yeah.
mine's a 65, but like I said, being that close to the ground, like it was tough. I mean, if the car was on the lift, it would have been easy, but it's not.
What
So
what kind of car is it?
mine's a 65 Pontiac. His is a 67 Chevelle.
Oh, okay.
So both A bodies. You know.
Yeah.
All right, testing, 1, 2. How now, brown cow?
Yes.
I hear
Ben,
you.
you got that one?
I still can't hear him.
Oh,
That's weird.
yeah, because we all can hear him.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's
I
the
don't know.
sign language.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Someone's gonna have to translate.
Terry, can you hear Ben?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can hear him.
Crazy.
It's wild. What's up,
Um,
Scott? Buddy?
So
Ah,
Ben,
what you-
have you been on overhauling for the last season? Were you on overhauling at all?
Yeah. Well, they asked me to come help out during the 10th season. You know, it was on Motor Trend.
Mhm.
And then they said, you know, you're welcome to come help out. We'd love to have you do all the builds, but we're doing like 2006 through 2015 year model cars. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not interested. so
Yeah.
they ended up calling me up and asking me to come down for the last build of the season. And we built a 64 Impala convertible for Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
boy.
Ah, I saw that
How'd you move
car.
How'd you move the seat back in that?
Yeah, we ended up putting a new floor pan in it, and we sectioned it and moved it back eight inches, the seat mounts, and then we had to lower.
And
It was
you
on
made a custom back thing too. I saw. He's a customer of mine, and I have pictures of that car. It was he just shipped it to Atlanta from his Orlando house. Yeah.
Huh.
I have
Yeah,
photos. Didn't I send those to you, Ray?
I don't think so. No.
You send them to me.
Oh, I
okay.
sent them to Terry. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I saw them.
It had like I think that car's got an LS in it or something.
Yeah,
Is that
like,
the reason
like
I sent it to you?
Yeah, it's like a burgundy-ish root beer or something like that.
Yeah.
Real pretty car.
Okay.
Shaq's a customer of mine. He's a good guy.
Yeah. That car, it sat at another shop. It sat outside for 4 years in the elements, and so
Short little
Yeah.
dude with a lot of tattoos, maybe.
Yeah.
He's done work for Shaq. We've talked about that.
yeah.
We know who that is.
Guy with the weird name.
It was on a Roadster shop chassis, so we ended up lowering the floor down like 2 inches as well because they had one of Shaq's shoes there, and when the heel was on the floor, just on the bare metal, the
It's in the dash.
toe was under the dash.
Wow.
So I had to lower it like 2 inches so he could at least get his foot out from under the dash.
I mean, that's almost an immediate must-have change on that car because the original car has an X chassis in it, which is a pain in the neck to work around.
Nothing fits the Shaq.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went down and they brought a bunch of the older builders back from some of the early seasons, some some old A-team builders, and then somebody had made a comment that it needed to be called the Gray Team now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you guys are the real deal.
Yeah, still getting it done.
I know. I have a video. I'll have to send it to you, Ray.
Okay. Look at that. Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to get it square here.
No, we can see it. Yeah. Now that's a man after my own heart. Any color you want, as long as it's black.
The interior.
That's
See
how
the
I did
interior?
mine. Yeah. Oh wow.
Look at that seat in the back.
That's,
the back
that's
seat
like my
you made.
Fiat Spider. It's got a
Yeah.
seat, but you got to sit sideways in it.
You should have did a high tower. Just take the back seat. Just take the front seats out.
And you should have done like what they did with the T-Birds, built like one of those fiberglass panels behind it, that kind of came up to the seats. There was a name for that. I forget what they call that. There was a name for that roadster panel.
Oh, yeah, right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That would look cool because
Yeah.
you ain't put anybody back
Yeah,
there.
Or have like an option for it.
Chip did that on Titus's car on that '56 Bel Air.
Okay.
Wait a second. Hold on. What was?
Like
Say
a
that
tonneau
again.
cover.
Tell him to say that again.
Terry said, "Say that again," because he's a 56 guy.
Yeah. Have you seen
that
that
had-
car, Terry?
That had to be a 56 convertible, I guess, obviously.
Yeah. He put like a tonneau cover on it with the speed humps behind the seats.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know Chris Titus, the comedian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chip built
He had a
the car
great
for
show
him,
on
like,
TV
number
years
3.
ago.
Yeah.
His show was
And
phenomenal.
actually, that was the first overhauling build I did. It was a '56 4-door sedan Chevy, and we turned it into a 2-door Roadster.
Wow.
And a lot of people thought that it had some of the same styling as that Titus car.
Right.
But,
Yeah. Titus
Nice.
has quite a few cars. He's a car guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
A
I like
Florida
that.
boy.
Yeah.
So, is overhauling? It's over now, right? There's no more.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I got a text message from Chris Jacobs today. He was not too far from my shop filming some stuff. We were going to get together, but filming ran long and he had to head home. But they hadn't had any plans of Motor Trend picking it up again, I guess, from what I heard.
They're
But you know,
doing that with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like Motor Trend is kind of shrinking their grouping or something,
Yeah.
They did the same thing with Magnante.
I was just watching. Yeah, they did. Steve's show got canned. I was just watching a YouTube video last night. Speed is the New Black, which was a great show. They didn't pick that up for another season either, and they just and the theory was because there was really no drama on the show. It was a straight up build show, and there was no BS, no drama. And they felt that, hey, you know what? Every other show that they kept does have the drama, and
that and the guy that actually owns the company is kind of wishy washy.
I guess
He's got no personality. That guy.
I guess he's got the power.
Yeah,
That's the key.
Even when, even during like our 3rd, 4th, 5th seasons of overhauling, like they would never do any advertising for us. And I remember it was kind of like a sore subject because the network was, they were making music videos for Orange County Choppers and doing all kinds of stuff. And Discovery Network would always say like, well, you guys have a loyal fan base. We don't need to do any advertising.
And OCC didn't? Come on. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, they did the same thing to Carfix too. There was years when we went out to SEMA and there was posters and stuff everywhere except for Lou and Jared. You couldn't find a picture of them.
Yeah.
Discovery Networks is kind of weird because we worked with that television show on Animal Planet, Tanked, with the custom aquariums, and they advertised the hell out of those guys.
Yeah.
They were everywhere, but they made Discovery billions of dollars.
Yeah.
They were a very, very high Nielsen rated show, and they were, ridiculous in terms of ratings for a lot of years. Discovery couldn't do enough.
Yeah.
you know, with them until finally things just fell apart.
Yeah. I got a phone call, I don't know, about a month and a half ago from a guy. He had a show on Animal Planet. They own Daniel's Woodland. I don't know if you've heard of. They do like shooting galleries and crazy tree houses and he called me up. He's like a big Disney guy, and he said, he talked to this restoration specialist, and he said that he was 9 months out, and he's like, if you know a good car guy that does restoration, like, they could do the same thing. So he called me and asked me if I would restore his like 1902 Craters steam popcorn and peanut cart.
Wow.
Like, well, I mean, it's not anything same procedure,
Sure.
So-
Metalwork's metalwork.
Yeah, but
Oh, that's
sometimes
awesome.
it's fun to do little off the wall things like that, and they don't take up as much space in the shop.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I've been there.
So, yeah, but yeah, it's been fun. Like, I've enjoyed owning my own shop. It's got its ups and downs, but at the end of the day, like, the reason why I started it was because, like, I had 2 jobs. I was doing concourse restoration on Mercedes Gull Wings and 300 SL Roadsters, and I had to have a second job to make ends meet.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, and so that was kind of, one of the big things. And I try, as a shop owner, I try to, treat employees with the same skill set that I've had, like the way that I felt like I should have been treated. We're not disposable. When somebody puts a lot of hard work into, their craft, they deserve to get something, and people pay a lot of money for fine art, and what's not fine about the artwork that people do in sheet metal,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah.
Hey, that party we went to in at SEMA, is one of your friends that had the motorcycles.
Yeah.
Does he have a website?
He's got an Instagram page. I'm not sure if he has a website for his shop.
Yeah,
but
can
his
you give me that? Or
yeah, his Instagram is Sosa Metalworks. His name's Christian Sosa. Sosa. And that's a Hammers and Hops event. They've teamed up with the Jesse Combs Foundation.
Oh, did they?
And yeah, and last year was, because I was there for the first year that they did that, and last year when they teamed up with the Jesse Combs Foundation, there was like probably 5 times the amount of people, or 2 years ago, sorry. And and this year, actually, my friend Pete, he used to work at Kindig Customs. Pete Watkins, he has Dextrose Engineering. He is kind of spearheading it. Jesse had bought a 59 Ford pickup that had utility bedsides on it, and they ended up doing a rendering of it, and they're doing, through the foundation, they're teaching classes and doing seminars, and everybody's getting together. And then the truck is supposed to debut at SEMA this year, and it's going to be auctioned off to benefit the foundation.
Oh, that's nice. Yep.
Yeah. So
are you going to SEMA this year?
I think so. I don't. Well, I haven't bought my passes, but
yeah, right. So if you do, we got to hook up for dinner or breakfast or lunch or something.
Yeah.
But we definitely got to go to that shop. If they're having a party, we got to go, man. Because I've been telling people how sweet the work that the guy's doing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, if you look at his Instagram page, he just built a full hand-built bike, and they put it in a museum. He does a lot of stuff. Everything's all hand-built. He does awesome work.
Christian Sosa.
Yeah, Christian Sosa at Sosa Metalworks. But yeah, last year for the for when they teamed up with the foundation, they had a bunch of sponsors that donated stuff, and I think the 3 hours that ticket sales had opened at the party, and when everything was raffled off, they raised like $27,000 or something for the foundation.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, I got to tell the fellas the story. So Ben tells me, "Hey, come over. We're at this party, right?" So me and the wife jump in an Uber, and he goes, "You'll see all the people standing outside." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we're coming down the street, and I was like, "Okay, there's a whole bunch of people standing outside." So we get out of the Uber, and I'm like, "Man, there's a lot of people here, right?" So we're walking up, and I'm starting to see Count Custom on the security shirt. I'm like, "Wait a minute, I don't think we're in the right spot." So Ben was like down the street, so we walked on down there. But I'm glad we came to your party.
The other group of people was at Treasures. That was like right across the street too.
Yeah. Yep. And
But actually, Christian used to work at Counts Customs a long time ago.
did he?
Wow.
Yeah, he did metal work there.
Yeah,
My
no
camera's
joke.
getting sleepy.
Yeah. It's always a good time. It's just a lot of like-minded people hanging out and appreciating work that people do.
And you know what else? Me and my wife was just talking about this the other day. I was like, man, I'd like to go back to that shop and spend a little more time there because we got there late. But it was a variety of people. There was lowriders there. There were motorcycles there. There were big trucks there. It was like a variety of everybody. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that stems from like an appreciation of craftsmanship, like just because something isn't your style doesn't mean that you can't appreciate the work that goes into it. Like I lived over in Scotland and being like an American car enthusiast, like, I'd have to give people props when, they would do a lot of work to their Mini, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
The Vauxhall.
yeah, right.
Hey Ben, I seen your picture. I need one of them kilts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get me one, man. I've been wanting to get one.
I had to sell a 60 Impala for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first car. My parents sent me some money, and I bought a kilt as our family tartan and everything, and then I found out it was because they'd sold my car.
Oh man.
But there was some discrepancy in the paperwork, I guess, and the police were just going to consider it like stolen or abandoned, so they ended up having to just sell it to the junkyard.
Oh,
It's kind of a bummer.
Wow.
The one that got away.
Yeah, we all have it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So, okay, another question.
Yeah.
Your buddies that worked on Joe's Hell Dorado from Lowrider magazine.
Oh, like the Engel Brothers Fabrication.
Yeah. So I've been seeing a lot of different pictures coming out of Hell Dorado with the metalwork that they did inside. Now, my question is, did they do the suicide doors on that? Because whoever made that kit, I think it was them, but I couldn't find out exactly if it was them or not. Do you know if they made the suicide door kit?
Oh, I'm not sure. I could ask them and find out. And see what
Because it was real. It was whoever did it made it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like off the shelf.
Yeah,
it was real strong.
I know, like 14 years ago, I was building a 55 Cadillac at a shop, and it was a 2-door hardtop, original owner, some young guy who was 29 and retired bought it, and I turned it into a 4-door for him. And I spent like 2 years worth of doing metal work on that that car. I chopped the top on it, put it on an Art Morrison chassis, did like crazy amounts of metal work, and then he ended up selling it. But I had found a company that they built these really beefy hinges that I used one of those there for a lot of modern trucks, like a 4-door truck that the bed sides are pretty flat on, because they advertised that the door would actually open up 180 degrees and be flat against the bed.
Oh, wow.
But the shape of the quarter panel on that Cadillac didn't allow it to open the full 180 degrees. It opened up like 120.
Yeah.
But that car, actually, somebody bought it. The customer had 200 grand invested in it. He ended up, and I told him, like, this car is like worth nothing to anybody as a project. Like, if it's done, it will be worth something, but as a project, like a basket case, it's not worth anything. And he ended up selling it for like $19,000.
Wow.
And
After
so
investing 200.
the last 14 years, this guy had been working on it, and they debuted it last year at Detroit Autorama, and it made the Great 8.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that. They call it the Sandman. It was a 55 Cadillac. It was turned into a 4-door.
Oh, it wasn't a station wagon, was it?
No, it wasn't a station wagon. That was, I think, a 58.
Oh, okay.
Or 59. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. I watched the interview and everything, and they interviewed one of the kids that had done some work on it, and he took all the credit for the work that I did.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, if I was expecting to get credit for what I did, I'm in the wrong industry.
Yeah. You do all the work, and they put the paint on it, and they get the credit.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so I can find out if they built those hinges, or I'll let you know, or even if they used a hinge and modified it, what hinge they started with. One of them lives in Southern California still. The other brother moved to Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
He worked at Reister's rod shop. You know who Ken Reister is? Like Chip Foose built that car that won the Riddler Award called the Impression. It was it's like a 36 Ford or 36 Chevy. Anyway, Ken has his own little shop out there, so he's working for him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, those guys are good, man. Every time I see Eldorado, I see something different that I missed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the big difference, is, like, the difference is something that draws attention because it's like timelessly done, and the details is what you're noticing, as opposed to just something that's super extreme and real obvious to pick out,
Right.
It's not, those aren't usually as timeless.
Yep. Because a lot of pictures are starting to pop up of that car. And every time I see it, I'm like, man, I didn't see it in person. And believe me, I was really looking at it because I was trying to steal ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's your Cadillac coming along?
Still sitting in the backyard.
Yeah.
I've been buying parts and stuff, and I moved, so I had to move my shop, and just family. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I'm starting to play around with it now. How you like this? I put a whole new fuel system in it, and so I started up the other day, and I got a gas leak out of one of the new hoses. And I never even drove it. You know what I mean? I just started up. I see gas coming out. I was like, what's going on?
Oh, that's COVID-19.
Yeah. I got a bad hose because of COVID.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm going to get into it pretty quick, though. I just built an engraving machine, so I'm going to try my hand at engraving all the metal.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So I'm gonna try to be like the Mexican guys out there with you.
Yeah. Man, one of the guys that does our the chrome work for us, he lives his shop's in Fresno, and I think it was a couple of years ago. the Lowrider Super Show or whatever, there was like a 57 Bel Air convertible that won the show, and he did all the chrome work on that. He said the chrome bill was like over 120 grand for
Wow.
that car alone.
Wow. Where do you find the money for that?
I don't know. I mean, I can't speculate, but that's
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, now chrome has gone up, and I'll tell you why. I was just talking to Brian, Macroman Brian, last week. I was looking to get a set of sockets, some 1/4-inch drive sockets, and I said, I want the chrome ones. And he goes, well, I can give you the black impacts. I'm like, well, I don't need impact 1/4-inch because I'm going to use it with hand. He goes, well, no, if you're looking to save money, he says, they're cheaper. He goes, the chrome is more expensive. I was like, wow, really? He goes, yeah, because of the chrome, not because of the socket. So
yeah.
Wow.
I guess everything's going somewhere to be done, and it's getting passed along.
Yeah, it's an additional step in the process, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was at a swap meet this weekend, and there was a chrome plater there, and I was like, just for giggles, what would a bumper? I told him a Cadillac bumper. He goes, 1,500, 2,000.
Louis, the 64 Caddy we got in the shop, the guy, I hear he's got the bumpers out at Nassau Plating, $3 grand. $3 grand for the 2 bumpers. Yeah.
Better off paying.
Yeah, that
car.
64 Cadillac that we were building last time I was talking to you, that one that we did all of the metal work on.
Yeah, right. Beautiful.
That customer ended up having some investments that didn't pan out and stuck it in storage.
Oh,
I was going to ask that, how did that car, what shape is it in? How did it turn out? Because I lost track of it, and it was looking great.
Yeah, I just primered it, and then she decided to pull the plug and put it in storage. And I just talked to her too, like, because we had a bunch of sponsorships for it, and I said, well, we're at the point where I'm going to have to start using products that were given to us, and I don't want to burn any bridges. So if you're not going to go through with it, I'll end up putting, a cheaper primer on it just to protect it.
Yeah.
So, no, go ahead. So I primed it with, some of the Spies Hecker primer that Exalta sent us. And then it wasn't even a month later that, I packed it up and trailered it away.
Oh, what a shame. That car had a lot of promise. That was artistry.
Yeah. So I secretly hope that maybe one day I'll be in a position and have enough space in the shop. I just tell her, like, hey, I'll finish it, and then, I'll do all the marketing and get the exposure for it, and we can sell it, and we'll just split it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we had like 3,500 hours in that car.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was kind of a bummer to see it go, but at the same time, like I was so focused on getting it done and the overall cost, like it took me weeks to catch up from only charging like $45 an hour.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those blessings in disguise, I guess.
Yeah.
Learning lesson.
Well, you were definitely stretching your creativity and your ability on that car. It was evident. It was just gorgeous work.
Yeah. We had a good team at that time, and everybody contributed and did what they did, and hopefully we'll be able to see it done one of these days. So
I'm remembering just the work that was done on the hood. It's staggering. I mean, that's now a number of years ago. That's probably back to 17.
Yeah.
But that was.
Yeah, we ended up peaking the fenders and welding that section, and then having the hood open up on the center of it, right by the brake in the body line.
Right.
Yeah, and then raising the fins and extending them into the doors. There's a tremendous amount of work.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Is it on your Facebook? I'm gonna pull up pictures if I see it.
Oh, I don't know. I've been kind of, like I said, in March last year when we got so busy, I stopped putting stuff on social media because I didn't know what was going on, and I don't want people to, who are willing to work who couldn't, to be seeing stuff like, sometimes it's hard to see the intent of what people post, and kind of take it as people boasting or whatnot. So I just kind of fell out of the habit.
Ben, I gotta take the other path on this. I gotta say, I think when I realized I wasn't seeing your stuff anymore. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
I think, when I see stuff like that, it's more of an inspiration. It's like, hey, get up off your ass out off the couch and go do something, because look what these guys are doing. People say that to me, and I'm just doing repair and wiring and stuff. But like, wow, you're making me feel like I should be getting up and doing something. Like, oh yeah, do something. It's good for you. So don't ever feel that way. Put it out there.
Well, a lot of guys
we've been kind of slow lately, though, world, as far as moving stuff along. Because I had a mechanic that was working with us, and he was like a 37-year dealership mechanic, and it was really hard to get him to realize that there's no flat rate in restoration work, and and like I can't put my name on some of this stuff that was done with the dealership mentality. So I've been having to I've got one guy that does all the body work and paint, and then it's me and one other like shop hand that just does kind of the dirty work stuff. But so I realized, when you spend so much time kind of trying to develop a reputation, it's not worth it to put too many eggs in one basket and let somebody run with it. You kind of got to rein it in.
I hear you,
John. What were you going to say about the automotive industry?
A lot of people in the automotive industry said that a lot of project cars.
I can't hear John now.
Have been worked on in the
last hear me?
Year. Yeah, I hear you. Perfect.
No, he says
he can't hear you.
So I figured that it went over from me to you.
No.
That's weird. I hear everybody.
So, John, I lost the track of what you were saying.
Oh, so a lot of the people that that we know in the automotive industry have all said that this COVID has pushed a lot of people back to their hobbies.
Okay.
That a lot of cars in the last 14, 15 months people got back on them and got stuff done.
That's good.
So
that's good.
I mean, got me motivated.
Yeah.
Ben, John was saying that this COVID has pushed people back into their hobbies and getting back on their cars and getting stuff done.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's been some silver linings in the cloud.
Yeah. I caught COVID about 2 months ago, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of stuff done around the house, or in the garage. Man, I was so fatigued, I couldn't get off the couch. 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. I was down, man. And I'm laying there on the couch like, I need to do something. I need to do this, that, and I couldn't do nothing.
That's the worst. You want to, but you can't.
Thank God, I've been fine.
Yeah. Well, glad to see you made a good recovery.
Yeah. I gained weight during the whole thing, so I guess I'm doing all right.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. So hey guys, I got to get off because I got an early start tomorrow. So Ben, I know you had to jump off pretty early too. Hey man, I really appreciate you coming on, and you got to stay in touch, bro, because you're part of the family here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been. Sometimes it's hard running a business. There's the scale, and sometimes it's tipped one way that So trying to find that balance in life.
Yeah, especially with kids. Yeah, you still got the young kids. So okay,
you do me a favor, Lewis. Do me a favor. Tell Ben I'm going to be heading off too, fellas. I'm going to have to head off myself. And tell Ben, yo, we got to hook up when we get out to SEMA, please.
Okay. Terry
I
saying,
can't wait for SEMA.
yeah, Terry said we had to hook up when we get out to SEMA for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And Lewis,
You
don't
guys
take me
ever
to those
come
dub
across,
parties and take me to the Ben party.
Yeah.
Listen, Ben. Every year I tell Terry, hey, we're gonna go kick it, right? We're gonna go to the dub party and we're gonna go hit the other parties, and he's scared of the dub party.
I ain't getting the dub party, man. I'm the oldest man at the dub party.
Listen, the dub party, you got to go there because all the industry people go there. It ain't teeny boppers; it's industry, man. You got to hit them all.
All right, you know what, Lewis? All right, I'm gonna follow your lead. I'm gonna follow your lead this year.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna follow your lead.
We're definitely going to hang out with Ben though, because Ben had me in a hot spot. Me and my wife was there, like, oh man, look at this, look at that.
Yeah.
Bringing
I
John.
usually base
If Blake comes out, he's going too.
the places that I go on
I'm all
what type
done.
of food they're gonna have.
Oh yeah. Gotta check the menu first.
Yeah.
Hey, Lewis, I got a
Yeah.
question for you before you go.
Yes.
So,
Did you sign up for your credentials for SEMA yet?
No, I was going to do it this week.
I did mine the other day,
Mhm.
and first you got to put in you, which would have been me, as the company owner and the whole 9 yards,
Right.
and go through all of the information which they already have. So it's like screen after screen after screen. You're just clicking OK.
Yeah.
So then I get to Barb. I got to put her on spouse, right?
Yeah. Automatic.
I had to send SEMA yesterday a digital copy of my marriage license.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Really?
They right there on the site, you know how when you go on it and you fill out all the info and then it takes you to that Apex SEMA site where you have like a dashboard and everything.
Yeah.
And they sent me the email that I'm registered and certified, done. And then it says Barbara Guerriero needs to send us one of the 3 following pieces of information.
Wow.
So now my wife is pissed at SEMA already for a couple of years because they mail me my credential
And not hers. Yep.
and not hers. And we have to go on that line
Yep.
and she's got to show her license that has the last name and the same address as me. And she's
Yep.
like, what is with these people?
Yeah.
Listen, John.
Why is there a problem with them and your spouse? It's like they think it's like I'm sneaking in some sort of, I don't know, Russian spy or something.
Yeah.
Really? What are we doing here?
Listen, every year they deny me the first time. And I got to call and say, why'd you deny me? This is like my 15th year. And I got to argue with them to get my passes. It's every year.
Yeah.
And I tell the people every year, I tell her, first I say, hey, every year I have this problem. Why am I having a problem?
Why is it a problem, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So be prepared. I came home yesterday. I said to Barbara, I'm like, by the way, I need you to go in the safe and dig out the marriage license. She's like, what? I'm like, it's one of the 3 things that proves you're my wife.
Oh boy.
And she's like, well, you know what? F SEMA. So she goes in the safe and she pulls out the book and she goes, here. So I scanned it and I sent it through the dashboard.
Terrible.
Sent it up. 5 minutes later, approved.
John, you should have given him option number 4. A phone call from your wife. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
She's like, are you kidding me? Why would they do this?
They're weird, man. Every year I got to do it. And
I could imagine if I wanted to take like an employee, I would probably have to submit paycheck stubs to them to prove that person actually works for my company.
It's crazy.
You know?
And I had a lady lied, and because I made a joke. I'm not like this. And I was like, hey, is it a racist thing? Because I get turned down every year. So her boss emails me, and he says, hey, this lady, she's doing her job and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at his email, and she cut out half of what I said.
She redacted it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I was like, hold on a minute. So I sent him the whole thing, my end of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he goes, I'm very sorry, Mr. Lee. I'll take care of everything and I'll talk to her about this. I'm like, look, man, why? Now you see why I said that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a racist thing. I just think that those people are just ignorant.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, come on. Then she lied. Man,
their security, they're so worried about security and keeping people out, yet we brought this up to people that are part of the security staff at SEMA.
Mm-hmm.
You could get on that monorail that they've got and get off at that SEMA stop.
Yep.
And there is nobody keeping anyone out of everything that's going on the ground, where they've got the skid pad, where they have all those trailers set up. Anybody can just get off that monorail and walk down those steps and walk around that outer part of SEMA all day long and not have a badge. Yep. You just can't get into the buildings.
And sooner or later, somebody's badge will fall.
Right. And if they're so worried about security, then they shouldn't be letting you come off that monorail without a pass.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's ridiculous.
So
there's so many people that go there every year that don't belong there at all. It's supposed to be a trade show. Yet I see so much of the public walking around, not knowing anything, but going, oh, wow, this is a great car show, man. It's like, really?
But they hammer me, man. I'm telling you, every year I get denied the first time.
I don't know, man. I mean, wow. I didn't hear.
Right?
Every year.
Is that crazy?
Yep.
Oh, man.
My wife was furious yesterday. Furious. She's like, you gotta be kidding me? She goes, I'm going to find somebody when I get there. She goes, I'm going to bust some heads. I'm going to show them what a New York Sicilian can do.
Oh, geez.
Oh, boy. From Florida.
Florida. All right, Ben, stay in touch, bro. And if you can send me any information on those hinges to work.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. And you guys got any good suggestions on inline forced motor for that little Econoline van? Let me know.
I like the Ecotech idea. I really do. I think that's that's a perfect fit.
Yeah. Terry, were you going to say LS or are you waving by?
LS.
I'll tell you something. I know back in the day, they did put V8s in those things. They were very, very, very tight. It was a pain in the ass to work on.
Yeah.
A lot of them came with straight sixes.
Yeah.
So maybe like a BMW 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
The
easy thing is they're all made of metal. So
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Ben, harder to weld.
There's a lady out there that has a Porsche junkyard.
Right.
You should put a Porsche motor in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wide though.
What was her name? Is it Sarah? What's her? Dackman?
Dackerman, yeah.
Dackerman, yeah.
Good memory.
I'll send you the information, man.
Me all the time because we have like a little competition on who's going to get to the top number in Instagram.
Oh, dude.
I beat her to 10,000 followers, and she's kicking my butt when it comes to 15. So,
okay, cool.
So I got to step my game up.
Yeah, she's out there close to you somewhere, so I'll send you the info.
All right,
Terry, I'm coming after you, Terry. I got 5 followers now.
All right.
I gotta put it in gear.
I was number one.
Listen, everyone. If you don't have me on Instagram, Terry LSX, hit me on Instagram. Follow me because I gotta beat Sarah Dackman because I'm not gonna lose to her, and I have to buy her some type of drink out there or something.
I'm gonna hook you up now, and then you can follow me back.
There you go. Hook it up. That's what I'm saying.
I got the best Instagram on the net.
You know it.
5 followers and 1 post.
Yeah. I can hear John now.
Wow.
Right,
the audio works again?
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
Hey,
crazy.
I think Ray's taking over the after show, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so everybody can stay on, but I'm jumping.
All right. See you next week.
All right.
Good night.
Take care, everyone.
Good night, guys. See ya. All right.
Well, thanks again, guys. I gotta go.
Ben, it was a pleasure
it was-
seeing you
it was
tonight. Thanks for coming on.
Awesome.
Yeah,
good having
thanks,
you.
guys.
All right.
All right, take care. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All righty. Oh, yes, sir, Bob.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get around on this thing here.
Instagram's pretty easy. I'll give you my synopsis
There's
because
too
I'm
many,
using. I'll use
there's too
Twitter.
many different things here.
It's well, I'll tell. Twitter and Instagram. I like Instagram a lot better. It's more, to me, picture based. Twitter was kind of made for people, the way I see it, celebrities to say, "Oh, I'm going into Starbucks on 42nd and 7th now, so I'm going to get my latte." It was all about what they were doing or where they were doing it. Now, Twitter, when you want to post, it has you write the caption first, then add the pictures. Instagram is the opposite. It wants you to put a picture up, the pictures up first, and then write the caption.
What's Terry's thing on here? He's
I think
Coverman
he said
66 on this.
No, I think he's Terry LS. Terry LSX. Try that. There's a search feature on top there. You
Oh,
see this thing?
yeah, I found it. Got him.
Use the search.
He's
The
in.
more you use it, it'll intuitively be bringing stuff up.
Yeah, well, because it brings up you, Boss Hog, Hey Maco Man.
Right. That's the stuff
When you
have.
search
already,
him, it comes up with his. Yeah. So
Right.
I'm in. He's got
Good.
10,200 followers.
That's crazy. You know what? I don't even look at what I have. I know
And
it's
he follows over 6,000 pages.
that my media guy tells
Dude's
me
a
this.
maniac.
He says if you want to be looked at seriously with social media, you always want to have more people following you than you follow.
Right.
And I said, okay, I kind of get that. It's kind of like you're the bigger guy in the room, so so like if you're looking to market yourself, I guess that's important. If you're just doing it for fun, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
I
I noticed
yeah.
that even on Facebook, like a lot of the guys that I know that are like celebrities,
Yeah.
they make a post, and then people, people like the post, but people also add comments.
Although you can comment on it, right?
But very rarely will these guys that I know that are celebrities even take the time to answer a comment.
Yeah. Don't be like that.
They go up there and they make a post, and then that's the end of it.
That's it. Yeah.
Then it's the next post.
I would venture to say, John, once people who follow you know that you're on Instagram, you're going to see a huge increase, like real fast.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to follow you on Instagram. Everybody who's on Facebook and whatever.
Now,
what you should do is put that link.
That feature where it can post from Instagram to Facebook.
Correct.
So I could set it, even though I'm using Chassis John, I can set that it winds up posting on like the Half Breed page.
You should be able to, yeah,
Or
because
they have to have the same name.
I don't think so. Because the reason is that Instagram is owned by Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they do it. So Twitter, you can't do that. If you cross post from Twitter,
I don't do Twitter.
it just puts in a link. Yeah, you'd have to look into that. I don't know if you can use another site, but it's a Facebook site, so maybe so. Because, like I said, they own it.
I know from my friend Joe that he posts on Instagram and then it shows up on Facebook.
Well, that's how I do it too.
Right.
When I put it on Instagram,
does it have to be the same handle?
I don't know. Like when I do it, I flip the button and it goes on to the Motormouth Radio Facebook page.
Right.
So
I'll have to figure that out. But
again, it's the same. But then again, the name is different because I'm Motormouth Radio on Facebook, but I'm real_Motormouth Radio on Instagram.
Okay.
So it is a different name.
You point it to it.
Yeah. Right.
And it's a done deal.
Right.
You don't have to do it all the time, right? You can make it so it's automatic.
It used to be for a long, long time. As long as I had that button flipped, it just every time I went, it was already flipped. Now every time I go, it's unflipped. I have to tell it to do it. So something changed.
Maybe in your settings you can lock that.
I don't know. It just stayed on all the time in the past, and now it's not. So it's not that big of a deal. I just look. It's right there, so I see it.
Did you see the pictures of that Corvette?
Yeah, I commented on it. Yeah, I commented on that thing, the red one. That's
fresh.
Yeah, that's something, man.
Custom.
Yeah.
The guy owns a couple of dealerships in upstate New York. I don't know what name they're under. He's one of my customers in Fort Myers.
Wow.
And and he special ordered the car.
Okay.
$97,000.
Hoo-ha!
Yeah. I go there today to take care of his stuff, and he's like, "Oh, come here, you got to check out my new car." I was like, "What'd you get?" He goes, "Come here, I'll show you." He opens up the door, and there's this bright orange with gold stripe, brand new Corvette, and I'm like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you, the prices of
he
new
went
vehicles.
for custom wheels. Each wheel was $1,700
Yeah.
more on
The
top
prices,
of the base price. Crazy.
the prices of new stuff. My buddy at work just got a new Tahoe. I think that was like 70 grand.
Yeah, like my truck.
You know, I mean, there's another guy I saw at the UD a few weeks ago with a brand new Jeep. It's the 4-door Jeep with the little pickup truck back on it.
Oh, the
I forget
Gladiator.
the Gladiator. That was like 52 grand
Sure.
in the base model. I'm like, holy crap, man,
know.
this stuff is ridiculous.
I know. Well, I paid a boatload for my truck.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Nice.
when you think about it, it's like, oh, okay, for what, $25,000-$30,000 more, I could have had a top of the line Corvette.
Right. Well, but
Who wants to pay that note?
you can't put 600 gallons of salt water in the back of a Corvette.
Absolutely not.
Hey, what's with the jack stands on the milk crates?
Oh, they were just there as they're actually not even really doing anything.
Okay.
I
Good.
had to get the height. No, I had to get the height to get the rail
Right.
where
Okay.
it had at the back of the car where it had to be.
Got it.
So the milk crate and the jack stand, and then a piece of 1/4-inch aluminum shim,
Okay.
and it wound up being dead on. And
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
"Oh, you got to be kidding me!" I
Good,
said, "But the
good.
next one can't be that way." And I did the same setup on the second one.
Yeah.
And then I put the level across the rails,
Uh-huh.
and it came up 0.00. And I'm like,
Beautiful.
"Oh, you got to be kidding me." So now
Wow.
everything's welded. The rails are welded in. So those jack stands are just sitting there. They're doing nothing.
Nice.
They'll actually come out tomorrow. I started working on the front 4-link brackets.
Okay.
I have the insides have been ground and trimmed, ready to go. So now I'm ready to pull them off, and I have these special spacer shims that are like 1/1000 thicker than the actual Heim joint.
Oh, wow.
So you sandwich 4 of those into the 4-link,
Uh-huh.
and you tighten up the bolts, and then you weld that whole unit into the car,
Yeah.
and then you knock out the bolts, and there's a tab on these spacers. And you usually got to use a vice grip and then kind of rock them and get them out
Yeah.
because everything shrinks in. But
Right.
then when you go to put your Heim joints on your 4-link bars, they slide right in nice.
Nice.
So they make them specifically. They cut them, on a Bridgeport,
Right.
exactly where they got to be, and
Nice.
and it works out really well for that stuff.
You know-
so that's tomorrow's job, is the front 4-link. And
I was,
then, I'll throw the housing in the car with the brackets on it, just loose. I have to build the links. I got to cut the chrome moly tube and start heliarc weld. TIG welding, that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I can do the shock mounts, and the car's ready to actually come off the jacks.
I find myself thinking of you a lot lately. I've been reading. I read a lot of. I go through these old magazines, car magazines, a lot of them from the 70s, and I look at the suspension stuff. And I just caught one today. There was a guy with a 57 Chevy, and they just fixated on like the end, the small block. It was a Corvette small block and the transmission. But one shot showed it looked like a homemade ladder bar. It came off the bottom of the rear and came up to almost under the door of the car.
Oh, extra long ones.
But not. It wasn't really like a triangle ladder bar. It was just like a square stock bar. And I looked in the nowhere in the article did they mention anything about this.
That's weird.
Son of a bitch.
Years and years ago, we did that. A friend of mine, Joe, had I think it was like a 76 or 77 Camaro.
Uh-huh.
It was a turd, and he wanted to mess around with this thing, and he he bought from me 2 lengths of 2x3 tubing,
Right.
and we welded some brackets on the rear end, and then some brackets up front under the actual stock chassis.
Yeah.
And he put these giant bars, kind of like a ladder bar, but not. They were 5.5 feet long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the pickup point was literally like under the seats.
Right.
He would take that car out to the Hamptons. You would not believe the wheel stands that this car would do.
It was, yeah, he had the lever action going.
Yeah, it was huge leverage.
There's a guy I know in Whitestone. He built a it's a pickup truck. I don't remember if it's a Willis or if it's a Chevy, but he's got those like 5-foot ladder bars under them. And it just looks cool. So it's so period correct, you know. Sounds like a gasser. He's got the front end raised, and
Yep.
I think he's got a stack injection set up in the car. It's decaled up. It's orange, Chevy orange. It's a cool looking truck.
Very
Halibrands on the front, so it's very period correct.
Yeah.
But
So my customer was all happy with this Corvette. He went out to Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Pick it up. Yeah.
Took delivery of it there, and then unfortunately he had to drive it back in those huge storms.
Right. I saw those storms that blew across. Yeah.
He drove through like Tornado Alley, and they would like ditching it, going into like parking garages. And let the storm go by and then come back out. Him and his friend. Took him 3 days to get from Kentucky back to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, you're nuts. Brand new car, $90,000 car, and you're taking that chance?
I was just watching out on the news just the other morning. They were showing like on Fox News, they were showing the storms. I told my wife, I said, we're thinking to relocate where? Like Tornado Alley? Like, what are you kidding me? You know, Jesus.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, not.
I don't know. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So how was the weekend? How was Saturday on the boat last week?
Oh God, it was horrible.
Why?
It was good going out.
Yeah.
We timed it wrong.
Oh.
Tide was coming in.
Yeah.
And it was very windy.
Uh-huh.
And the wind was coming onshore from the Gulf.
Yeah.
So we went to Tampa. That's like about a 40-minute ride by boat. So we were literally going with the wind and the tide.
Uh-huh.
So that was okay. It was just a little bit of chop.
Yeah.
But, I just gave it some more throttle and trimmed it and rode across the tops.
Yeah.
And then when you get to Tampa, now you're it's like real calm there.
Right.
It's the downtown Tampa. It's the river, the Tampa River. So you go from the bay, Tampa Bay, into the river. And it was nice. And we went up the river and we saw that they had built some new docks that you could use, day docks.
Uh-huh.
There's a couple of restaurants that are getting ready to open up. So there was a lot going on. And then we turned around, and on the way back, we were at like almost max tide, and the wind was crazy, and the swells were like 4 feet.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And it was like up and down and up and down. And at certain speeds, you're basically shoving the bow right into the wave.
Wow.
Coming up over the bow.
Yeah.
It was like me. I just ducked behind the windshield,
Right.
But it was coming in diagonal.
Oh,
so
man.
it was missing. It was coming in on the right side of the boat. The bow would hit and the wave would come up over, and I would duck under the windshield, and Barb's side's wide open. There's a windshield there, but it's coming at her,
right.
Through the pass through.
Yeah.
So she was like, son of a bitch. She got soaked. So I wound up, the only way to do it is I trimmed up, which raised the bow. Yeah. To the point where if you were sitting, you can't see over the front of the boat.
Right.
But now the peaks are coming in basically at the dashboard.
Yeah, under you. Right.
So you're not getting splashed, and I could actually pick up some speed and go. But every now and then I'd have to stand up, and it's
Right.
like you want to fall over because the boat's like this,
Sure.
And she's like, "Can you see?" And I'm like, "No." She goes, "Well, how do you know if there's not another boat coming across your bow?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, I don't see anything coming out this way."
Yeah.
She's
Right.
like, "You're an
jet
idiot."
skier or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every now and then I had to stand up, and it was hard. It was about an hour to get back,
Wow.
and it was really choppy, very
Yeah.
very choppy. It was warm. There was dolphins everywhere. It was awesome.
Right.
But even in the river area where our marina is, it was like whitecaps.
Wow.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. It
Yeah,
was crazy.
yeah.
And it was the first day that we were bringing the boat back to the marina. So I had the boat on the trailer. So I had to go to their ramp, and they have a little dock there.
Uh-huh.
There was a boat docked up there. I figured
Uh-huh.
maybe somebody was like getting ice or whatever.
Yeah.
So I got the boat into got the trailer into the water, and she was already on the boat, and she's like, "What do you want me to do?" And I'm like, "Well," I said, "I don't know where this guy is." I go, "So fire it up. I'll unhook you." I said, "Back up, and then I'll go park the truck in the trailer, and I'll go out to the main dock." I said, "Just kind of circle around out there." I said, "And then come into the dock, and I'll just jump on the boat and we roll,
Yeah.
She's like, "Okay, fine." So in the meantime, I come down the ramp, and the tide is coming in totally sideways
Wow.
of how the ramp is.
Uh-huh.
So she drops the motor, fires up the boat. I unhook, and I'm pushing it, and I'm like, "Okay, put it in reverse." So she puts it in reverse, and she comes off the trailer, and right away the back of the boat is heading to shore.
Oh boy.
I'm like, turn the wheel all the way to the right and give
Yeah.
it some gas and get that thing to kind of swing around, because there's private docks and there was some other boats there.
Yeah.
So she was able to kind of get it looped a little bit, and then she just put her finger in the steering wheel and spun that thing hard,
Nice.
threw it in forward, and just zipped it around.
Yeah.
And now she was in control. So
Good.
I had to go park the truck in the trailer, and then I walked to the dock, and I didn't see her anywhere. I'm like, "Oh no, where is she?" And there was a boat on my side of the dock that was blocking.
Mm-hmm.
So she had already docked.
Ah.
And she's like, "Check me out." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you did a good job." She goes, "Well, the tide is literally blowing the boat into the dock."
Okay.
So she's like, I came around. She goes, "And I just brought the bow in first, and there was a guy standing there, and he grabbed the line." She goes, "I just shut the motor off, and the back of the boat just came right up against the dock."
Beautiful.
I was like, "Perfect."
Nice.
Yeah. So she did a good job. I'm like, "Nice, no scratches or anything. Awesome."
Good. You take that. Sure.
Yeah. So she was happy that worked out good, but
Right.
it was a little difficult when we got back because the wind was real stiff,
Uh-huh.
and I wound up. There was boats that were being pulled out of the water.
Uh-huh.
So the right-hand side there was only a small space. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in there comfortably without banging into something.
Yeah.
So I went around to the other side, and I just put the bow up against the dock.
Yeah.
And then they pulled two boats out with the forklift.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, "Oh, okay, now we got room." So I backed out, went around the other side, and then I was able to make a large sweeping kind of a 180.
Uh-huh.
And I just, again, put the nose right into the corner of the dock under power. She jumped out, tied the front, and then I just shut the engine off and just let the stern just come right back over to the dock.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, you're good with that." Whatever.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
good.
worked out well. It's so much work, though.
Yeah.
I like the boat, but it's a lot of work. I had last week 5 hours of cleaning.
Oh, cleaning. Yeah.
Because you open up the hatches and you get all kinds of mold, black mold, and like gray mold.
Yeah. That's what you were saying last week.
Yeah, and in the bilge, you get water that gets in the bilge. It's slimy. It's salt water. It's shitty.
Right.
So I went in there. I got one of those pump sprayers, and the chlorine, the liquid chlorine you use for the pool, which is
Sure.
shock bleach, real
Right.
strong. I sprayed everything inside, and instantly it turns like perfectly white.
Yeah.
And then I went with the pressure washer and rinsed it all out, made sure
Sure.
everything was all nice, and then I cleaned the rest of the boat. So that was like a 5-hour ordeal. You throw the thing in the water, boom, you got salt everywhere, right away.
Right.
So
Right.
what are you going to do? But I have a canvas cover in the front, goes from the bow all the way across up to the windshield. There's there's like 30 snaps in that.
Right.
Then I got the Bimini top.
Mhm.
You got to fold that thing down. You got all of these arms. You got to like unhook and clip, and then you drop it. And then there's a cover with 2 zippers that go over that.
Yeah.
Then I got the canvas cover that goes from the top of the windshield all the way down to the motor.
Yeah.
There's like 75 snaps on that. And there's snaps on top of snaps.
Oh God.
Where you have the mounts for the Bimini top, the canvas goes around like a keyhole, and you put one flap down, and there's a snap, and then the other flap goes over it. Then there's 2 more snaps. This thing's made for like 300-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she was like, "Well, you put the cover on. I'm going to the truck."
Nice. I'll see you in 2
Give me
hours.
the keys. Yeah, give me the keys. I'll turn the AC on. I'm like, "Oh, thank you very much."
Oh
So
man.
I always wind up having to do all the hard work.
Right.
I gotta keep it right. I gotta clean it. I gotta drive it. I gotta put the canvas tops on, pack up the Bimini, make sure I got everything off the boat, take the GPS with me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
All for 3-4 hours out on the water.
I guess it would be nicer if you had a if you're on waterfront, you could just dock it out in your backyard.
Yeah, I could do that. They have wet slips there, but you have to paint the bottom of the boat.
Right.
And I'm not interested in painting the bottom of a speedboat. That's like the worst thing in the world you could do.
Yeah.
It's different. Like my other boat was a cabin cruiser.
Yeah.
And we used to keep that out in Santa Riches. So that one sat in the water for 6 months out of the year. Perfect. You got your 4 lines on it. You got your 2 finger docks. You roll up. You unplug your shore power. You fire it up, and you go. And you can. That was a camper on the water. That thing had everything. Had a full bathroom. It had V-berth. It had a full kitchen. I had a freezer, an ice maker, oven, microwave, generator. That thing had everything.
Yeah.
So that's, like I said, it was a like a Winnebago for the water.
Right.
Big heavy boat, used a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
Not real fast.
Mhm.
But it was good. I was happy the day I bought it, and I was happier the day I sold it.
Yeah, right. That's what they say. That's what they say.
So, but this boat's doing real well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a good time with it. It's fast. It's really fast. 150 horse on a 19-foot boat.
Sure.
Like 19.7.
Yeah.
So it's good. It gets up there. I mean, I've had it, according to my GPS, I had it up to like 58 miles an hour.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, which I'm like, okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Tell me, 58 miles an hour on the water feels like 150.
Right.
Yeah. I went past a good friend of mine. He's a surgeon.
Uh-huh.
He and his partner invented a parathyroid operation.
Okay.
They make a little incision.
Yeah.
15-minute operation. They go in there and they take out your deteriorating thyroid.
Yeah.
So he lives on the water, downtown Tampa. He's 4 houses away from Derek Jeter's big house.
Oh yeah.
Which Jeter doesn't live there anymore, and he's renting it to Tom Brady.
Okay.
So that's where Brady lives.
Right.
So you go past Dr. Jim's first, and he just bought, I don't know the name of the boat company. It's a center console. It's not a name you would associate with like a race boat center console, like Fountain and these other companies. I forget the name of his boat. It's absolutely spectacular. It's like 44 feet long. He's got a lift, with a roof. The whole so the boat's protected. It's a beautiful, beautiful shade of blue. So we're kind of coming around a corner. He's got 450 horse motors on the back.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, Doc, let's hear it.
There you go.
Yeah. He told me, he says, hey, anytime you want to go out, he says, just give me a call. He says, come on over.
Yeah.
So then 4 houses down, you got Brady, who just bought like a $3 million boat. Again, it's like a modified center console on a racing hull.
Yeah.
But his boat looks like something from outer space.
Oh yeah.
It's the back of the boat curves down.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah.
Like an old speedster boat.
Right. I've seen those.
And it's this really funky dark metallic blue. There's videos of him because they had a big celebration here after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So and that's the one where he was tossing the trophy to the guys in the team and the boat behind him. So yeah, it's like a $3 million boat.
Wow.
And it's just sitting there on the up on the lift, and I'm like, what's with this guy? Doesn't he use this thing?
Yeah.
This is nuts. That's a nice area where there's a lot of people with some serious money. I got a lot of customers in that area, and they all live on the water. They all have boats and the whole deal, and they pay ridiculous amounts of insurance money.
Yeah,
because it's a floodplain.
Oh yeah.
And your ground floor of your house is not allowed to be living space by law.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. So everybody uses it as their game rooms, gymnasiums, and garages for their car collections.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
which is
why?
I mean, that's also something you don't want flooded, though.
Exactly. Like, why would you have 10, 12 different sports cars and custom collectibles and stuff in a space that could possibly flood?
Right.
I don't see that.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's my doc friend has he's got a barn find Daytona Charger.
Oh, really?
It was in the media. There was a lot of articles about it. It was sitting for like 40 years or so.
Wow.
In a pole barn. So it was subjected to weather.
Right.
There's literally I'm trying to think of the proper word for it. Lichen. It's like a plant material.
Yeah.
I think it's called lichens.
Okay.
Growing on top of the wing.
Oh God.
Enough dust accumulated and enough pollen that it literally started growing plant life on top of the wing.
Jeez.
They very, very carefully extracted this car from the barn, shipped it down to his place where nobody touches it. And there was some articles about it.
Okay.
So he wound up putting it into cold storage, so it would just be preserved as is.
Yeah.
But he's made the decision that he's gonna have somebody do restoration on it.
Okay.
He was actually talking about sending it out to what's
Mark
his name?
to Warman.
Mark. Yeah. He watches the show.
Okay.
So I'm sure Mark would do a heck of a good job on that.
Oh, sure. They just finished one up. They just finished up one now. Yeah.
The car's 100% original.
That nose is ridiculous, man. It's like,
I know, it's
heavy.
ugly.
It's all metal.
It's terrible. It doesn't fit right.
And like the bracketry that makes it, I didn't know this until I just saw it last week. It's like bumper brackets, but giant, tall bumper brackets that slide in and, big bolts. The thing was heavy as hell.
Yeah. That's funny, but
yeah,
that was the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the stuff. I told you the story about that guy that came to repair my dad's riding lawnmower.
That sounds familiar. The mower sounds familiar.
I was a kid, I
Yeah.
didn't have my license yet. I think I was like 13 or so. 14? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
1970.
Right.
My old man had a riding lawnmower and he had a problem with the engine. It wouldn't idle properly. And he called his buddy that owned the landscape, the place where the nursery where he wound up buying it from.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I'll send the mechanic over. And this guy showed up at my house in a white Plymouth Superbird,
That's cool.
black vinyl top, white body, had
Wow.
the Road Runner on the wing,
Yeah.
decal, had the the Chrysler, whatever wheels they were using was silver with like a lot of little kind of like indentations and holes with the trim rings.
Yeah.
Had that wheels on it with
The road
I think it
wheel,
had,
yeah.
I think it had like polyglass GTs or
Yeah,
whatever they
probably.
put on at that time. And
Yeah.
it was a Hemi 4-speed car.
Nice.
Yeah, he came thundering down the street, boop, 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 stopped right in front of my house, and I was just my jaw was dragging on the driveway.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "You got to be kidding me here," because I had seen those in magazines, and those were the days I was building model cars.
Sure.
And this guy pulls up in a Plymouth Superbird,
Yeah.
right on the hood, Hemi.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then after he was done, my dad went outside, and my father wasn't a car guy,
Uh-huh.
and that's why he used to make fun of me all the time. He's like, "Why are you wasting your money here? What are you doing?"
Right.
And so he was the mechanic opened up the hood, and my father was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Big.
I was like, "Whoa, that's great!"
Yeah.
Black vinyl interior, pistol grip shifter.
Yeah.
This car had everything. I was like, "Oh yeah." I can imagine what that car is worth if it's still original today.
Yeah. Yeah. Big dollar cars.
Yeah.
My friend sent me a video. There's a guy who collected one in every color.
Oh gosh.
So, he's got them all on display at his place, and it's like, holy shit. To see them all together is
That's great.
phenomenal.
To literally have a fleet.
Every color. Yeah. Like, wow. It's crazy.
Chrysler was not shy with the colors back then.
No, I know. I think there's got to be like 12 or 13 at least.
Right?
Different
'Cause I know
colors.
they had black, they had white, they had an electric green, they had purple,
greens,
they had
yellow,
orange, yellow,
white. Black. Yeah.
They had a bunch of crazy colors.
Sure.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
Long gone days.
Yeah.
I watched Lou's cast last night.
Oh, yeah.
He had Steve Darnell on.
Oh, cool. Cool.
And let me tell you something. He's awesome. He had all kinds of stories. He was like in the moment.
Yeah.
It was a totally different Darnell than you see in interviews or on TV when he had the show.
Right.
He's just such a cool, regular, easy to get along with kind of guy. And he had some awesome stories about how he bought his first car at 13.
Yeah.
And crashed it through the back of the garage of his house. It didn't have brakes. drove it right through the back of the garage into the house.
Oh,
and
wow.
He said years later, when he turned 18, his father handed him a bill for what it cost to fix the garage.
Oh, wow.
He goes, "Oh, by the way, here's your 18th birthday present."
Nice.
He handed him the bill of what the father had paid to fix the garage years prior. Yeah. It was unbelievable. It was good. He was funny. Real funny. And
cool.
He was walking around with his iPad showing his house. He's got a 2-story house, and he's got like a wraparound deck on the second story.
Oh, yeah.
He's got cars on it.
No, really? How did you get him up there?
He put them up there before they put the railings up.
Oh, wow.
With a forklift.
Okay.
He's got 3 cars. Then he was talking about, because he's not married anymore. He has like 18 or 19 dirt bikes all lined up in his living room.
Wow.
he says his friends come by and they bring the wife back for a party, and right away the woman's like, obviously you're not married.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, he's got a couple of John Deere tractors.
Yeah.
The whole guy's crazy. He's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Huh?
So yeah, it was good. It was fun. He explained all about how he, got into welding and stuff. His father
Right.
was a rebar salesman.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then after he did that for a while, he actually opened up like a fabrication shop. And
Right.
Steve learned how to weld by learning how to arc weld.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
And then he moved on. It was a really good hour. I was very entertained.
Nice.
It was awesome.
That's
Very
good.
cool. So
All right. I'm going to entertain myself by taking out the garbage.
yeah, my garbage went out today.
Yeah.
All right. It was good.
then- Yeah.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
You know
Do
what?
that.
I wanted to, but I don't think they do that. I wanted
What's
to,
that?
like, can you create an album on that Instagram?
I don't know about an album. You can do stories. A story is a quick little thing you put up. Usually it's a video, and it only lasts for like 24 hours.
See, because I'm like coming in at the wrong time.
Why?
If I wanted people to understand my past, then I have to like start posting all of this stuff right away. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, like I said, unless you link,
I kind of wanted to have. I was wondering if there was like a way to link to a photo album where I could point people and say, "Here's where I started, and you're tuning in now."
I guess, I mean, your Facebook page, I guess, is where you want them to go.
Yeah, so it would be that kind of thing.
So just start putting links up to your Facebook page. Put up a picture and link to the Facebook page, and
Right.
people will catch on. I'll see about that. My daughter knows more about this than I
I've
do.
been looking around on this app. I didn't see anything that's kind of.
They don't always show you, but like I said, I ask her when I need to do stuff that's out of the ordinary, and she usually knows the answer.
Yeah.
So I'll ask her.
So that's one of the reasons that I haven't like posted anything, because I'm like, well, I kind of want to get timelines right,
Yeah.
So me with my laziness,
Yeah.
bad enough. I have so much stuff for the aquarium business,
Right.
and I got a girl that's going to redo the website,
Uh-huh.
and she gave me the link to her, her what do you call that thing where you can upload big files?
Oh, probably like a cloud storage site or whatever.
Yeah, it's something like Microsoft something. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And she's like, I need videos, I need photos. I mean, I have thousands of pictures and
Yeah.
like 1 trillion megabytes of video and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
to sit there and do it.
No,
like,
would it be easier is if she had a link to your site, to your storage? That'd be easier,
you know what? I can just give her that. I could do that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what. See, but then I need to put that stuff in mine. A lot of this stuff's on my phone.
Oh yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
like super lazy about moving stuff out
See,
of the phone.
I am
Like,
so
if you-
regimented. No, I'll tell you what I
Yeah.
do. The first of every month, I back up the phone to the
Right.
computer, and I back up my wife's. So it backs up all the pictures and everything. But then when the phone is attached, I go in and I manually move all the pictures from that month, because I'm only doing a month at a time, onto the hard drive of my computer where I file
Yeah.
them. So I have them backed up on the computer. I have them in the phone still, and now I have them on the computer. So I like triple redundancy in case anything ever happens, because stupid shit
My
does
camera
happen.
roll has over 8,000 pieces on it.
I put a huge SIM card in just for that reason.
Yeah.
But I
My,
take them I copy them off every month into the computer, so I have them in 2 spots. Well, actually, yeah, at least 2 spots.
Yeah. I have hundreds and hundreds of videos.
I mean, just think of what would happen if you lost that.
True. Very true.
You'd really be kicking yourself in the ass.
Well, isn't this stuff on the card here?
If it's on the card, it could be in the phone too, because it depends.
Yeah.
I've had that happen where I thought stuff was on the card, but it's saved to the phone.
I've been very lazy in terms of when I plug this thing in, it's basically just charging it.
Charge it. See, the
I
cards.
I really should set it up so that when I plug it in at night, that it's dumping stuff into the.
Oh, if you can
computer.
do that, okay. Like I said, I do it
Yeah.
the first every month, manually. But this
I
way, I
have
remember to do it.
photos on there that go back to 2012.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I got old stuff on mine too. I got old
Yeah,
stuff.
real old stuff because it's like 4 phones ago.
Right.
When when I turn on the new phone, it sucks everything out of the old phone.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just I got to be honest with you. I hate the the Apple software deal.
Uh-huh.
Like I pay $1.99 a month, so I have a large amount of storage
Oh, for the cloud, yeah, the iCloud.
with their iCloud.
Well, that's good too.
But-
'Cause it'll up. Yeah, you could set it to upload to
Yeah,
that.
but that's the problem is I stopped uploading to it because it was jamming, even though I had the space.
But you should
I
be
was
able to have. You should be able to have that do that automatically too.
Yeah, I need to flip a couple of switches in here and do that. But I
Yeah.
was thinking of just getting a really like a massive hard drive
Uh-huh.
that I could just plug into
You can do that. Sure.
and then just transfer stuff.
Yeah. You
know?
can do that.
The biggest problem is as good as these phones are, when you plug them directly into your computer and then it opens up the Apple iTunes deal, and then you shut that down.
Right.
And then you go and you actually find this as a drive.
Yeah. Right.
And then you start to transfer stuff.
Yep.
The transfer speed from the phone to the computer is like ridiculously slow.
Mine isn't. Mine
Yeah.
isn't. Maybe that's the computer. Because mine, like I said, I transfer over blocks of like 3, and the pictures that I'm in my phone are all like at least a meg to 2 megabytes a piece. And I'm taking like 3 lines of them, which is probably like 30 pictures at a time, dragging them over, and it's like broop, done. 3 more, broop, broop, done.
Yeah, I gotta. I don't know.
So it may be the computer that you're using too.
Not my Windows 10.
Right. I'm using Windows 10. Yeah, I'm on 10.
Not my Dell Windows 10.
Yeah, no, I'm on 10.
If it's anything like my laptop, it's a mess.
Right.
You know what I wound up doing today?
What's that?
I came home at like 6 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
I flipped open the laptop to
Yeah.
let it fire up. It was,
Oh.
because it's, like every Thursday night, I just close it
Yeah.
and it's just dormant.
Right.
Going to bed. Good night. And so I flipped it open. As soon as
Yeah.
I got home, I'm like, I'm not going to get caught like last week.
Yeah. Give it a couple hours of warm up.
I went in the house. I took a shower. I came back out. I had error messages.
Oh, geez.
No bootable drive.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah.
So I hit the power button, shut it off, hit the power button and restarted it, walked away, had dinner.
Yeah.
Came back out like 25 minutes later, and the Dell logo was there, and the busy signal was going.
I think you need to have that thing looked at.
Yeah. So I went back inside. I did some paperwork, came back out, and the login screen was there. So I'm like, okay. I logged in. And it brought up the desktop within about 5 minutes. There's something that's very slow about this thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I didn't do anything. I just walked away. I continued to do my paperwork. After the desktop was there, I double clicked on the Google Chrome.
Yeah.
And I just walked away. Came back 5 minutes later, and Chrome page was on. The home page for Chrome was on.
Yeah.
So I went to Facebook, and believe it or not, that loaded up right away. I was like, oh,
Wow.
okay. And then I sent Lewis a message, send me a link for tonight. So about a half an hour later, he sent that. So I came out here, and I clicked on it, and it was just kind of like rolling. In the meantime, I went and clicked on camera to make sure that my camera would work.
Yeah.
And it was just a blank screen. I'm like, ay. So I unplugged the camera. I plugged it back in. So then finally everything lit up, and he sent the link, and I clicked, and boom, I was there. there's something in here that's keeping this thing from running at any normal speed.
Yeah, I think you need to have it looked at professionally.
Yes. Actually, because we just redid the office, my home office.
Yeah.
So I have these totes with all my stuff. There's a thumb drive that came with this computer
Right.
that has the original Windows 10 program on it.
Yeah.
So I need to dig through those bins and I need to get that thing out. And then what I need to do is grab my CD of I have one of those hard drive annihilation programs
Right. Right.
where it'll do that military wipe.
Yep.
It's called drive wipe. That's what it's called. Drive
Yeah.
wipe.
Yeah. Right.
Put that in and just empty the drive. And it just writes over the drive like 100 times.
Yeah.
Ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros until there's nothing that's usable left on the drive.
Right.
And then plug in the thumb drive. It's bootable and it'll automatically load a clean version of Windows.
Yeah.
And then the computer should be fine, unless this thing's got a hardware issue.
Right.
You know, there may be RAM that's just not up to snuff all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And slowing the whole system down. So
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe just take the thumb drive over to the Geek Squad.
Yeah.
And say, look, here's the laptop, here's the thumb drive, fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Call me when it's ready.
Right. There you go.
Or like my wife said, why don't you just throw it away and go get another one?
And go buy a new one. Yeah.
I'm like, because this one's only like 4 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way. You bought that thing years and years and years ago. I'm like, you want to see the bill?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's only 4 years old.
Right.
So, all right.
All righty, John.
I'm out.
All right. Playing in traffic. Ending for the night. Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio. Chassis John doing his thing down in Florida. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah. Find me on Instagram.
Yes. And what's your Instagram address? What's your handle?
Chassis, CHASSIS. What's that?
Underscore.
Underscore John.
Right.
Chassis underscore John. Follow. There'll be some cool stuff.
Absolutely.